I killed my sister. Not with a gun or a knife, nothing that messy, but with a whisper in the dark. A deal struck in the underbelly of a Chicago speakeasy where the desperate trade souls like poker chips. And as her body slumped into mine, warm and vital, I felt the first real pulse of freedom since the day they pinned Dad's embezzlement on me. Freedom tastes like bourbon and blood money, and damn if it didn't make me hungry for more. You think betrayal is just words? Try this, your own blood. The ones who raised you on apple pie lies and 4th of July fireworks, turning their backs while you rot in a cell for their sins. My family, Mom. The iron-fisted real estate queen of Naperville, Sarah. My golden child sister. The one who always landed on her feet like a cat with 9 lives and a trust fund. And the cousins. Aunts. Uncles who nodded along like it was all just business. They didn't just leave me to fry, they toasted to it over Veuve Clicquot at my sentencing. But here's the hook that reels you in: I didn't swap bodies to survive. I did it to watch them burn. Slow. From the inside. The group chat notification buzzed like a hornet in my pocket as I hunched over the chipped Formica counter in my studio apartment on the south side. The kind of place where the L train rattles your teeth at 3 a.m. and the fridge hums like it's auditioning for a horror flick. Family trip to Maui, who's in, the title read, with a palm tree emoji that felt like a slap. I was fresh out. 6 months into parole after 5 years inside for wire fraud I never touched. Dad's mess. Sure, cooking the books at Mom's brokerage to fund Sarah's startup that was really just a Soho loft and a coke habit. But who got the orange jumpsuit? Little Abby. The quiet one. The fixer, who always cleaned up their spills. I tapped open the thread, heart thumping like I'd chugged a Red Bull. Mom's voice note first. Sarah's got us comped first class, courtesy of her new hubby. Beaches. My ties. The works. Abby. Honey. We know money's tight. Stick to your community service shifts. Love you. Then Sarah's text. Sis. Don't feel bad. First class is like $2,000 round trip. You have to sell that rusty Civic. Face with tears of joy hibiscus, followed by a barrage of thumbs up from Aunt Linda. Cousin Jake. The whole clan. No one mentioned the appeal I'd filed last month. The one that could have cleared my name if they'd just testified to what they knew. My thumb hovered over the mic. Shock them? Hell. I was done whispering. I hit record. Sounds epic. But next time, why not Maui for the whole family? Oh, wait. You already did that when you let me take the fall for Dad's theft so Sarah could keep her Hamptons wedding. Enjoy the luau. I'll be here, plotting my own getaway. P.S. Check your emails. The IRS loves a good family reunion. Send. The chat exploded, 3 dots blinking like panic attacks, but I was already out the door. The autumn chill biting through my thrift store hoodie as I headed for the L. Parole officer be damned. I had a date with a man named Victor. The kind of shadow dweller who peddled miracles in back alley bars. Victor wasn't hard to find. Everyone in the pen whispered about him. Russian expat. Ex-KGB whispers said. Now slinging bootleg Botox and black market organs from a dive called the Velvet Rope off Wabash. The place smelled like stale pierogies and regret. Velvet curtains partitioning booths where deals went down quieter than confessions. I slid into his corner, nursing a flat vodka soda, my knee bouncing under the table. Heard you trade more than flesh, I said, voice low, eyes locked on his cold blue, like Lake Michigan in January. He chuckled, gold tooth glinting. Souls. You mean? Old wives' tale. Devushka. But for the right price. He trailed off, eyeing the manila envelope I'd slapped down. Printouts of Mom's offshore accounts. Sarah's shell companies. The paper trail I'd pieced together from public records and a hacker buddy from lockup. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Duh. But body swaps? That's black magic. One way. You go in. They go elsewhere. No return ticket. I leaned in. The booth's vinyl creaking. Elsewhere works. I want Sarah's skin. Her life. Everything she stole from me. The words hung heavy. Controversial as hell. Trading my broken shell for her polished one? It wasn't justice, it was theft. Pure and simple. But after the appeals court laughed me out last week, confirming my guilt based on their perjured statements, justice was a fairy tale. Victor studied me, then nodded. Rituals tomorrow. Full moon over the lake. Bring a lock of her hair. And your hate, it fuels the fire. Back home, the chat was a war zone. Mom, Abby, what the hell? That's ancient history. Sarah, you're unhinged. Stay away from us. Jake, cuz, chill, it's just a trip. I archived it all. Then dug out the locket Sarah had gifted me for my 21st inside. A curl of her honey blonde hair. Symbol of sisterly love. Bullshit. By dawn, I'd shaved it down to the root in my bathroom mirror, whispering promises to the drain. Betrayal's a slow poison, but mine was turning venomous. The ritual spot was a forgotten pier on the lakefront, where the city lights blurred into the black water like smeared mascara. Victor waited with a duffel of arcane crap, chalk, candles that smelled like burning sage and sulfur, a vial of something viscous that he swore was essence of the void. We drew the circle under sodium lamps, the wind whipping off the waves, carrying distant horns from freighters. Focus your rage, he grunted, pricking my thumb. Then God. How'd I get her hair into the mix without her knowing? A pilfered brush from Mom's house during a welfare check visit last month. Controversial? Breaking and entering for revenge props? Yeah. But desperation's a hell of a lawyer. As the chant started, guttural Slavic syllables that twisted my gut, I pictured Sarah's face, smug at my trial. Testifying I knew everything, her Versace suit screaming innocence while I sat in county polyester. The air thickened. Electric. Like before a thunderstorm. Pain hit like a freight train, bones shifting. Skin crawling. Memories flooding, not mine. Sarah's first kiss at prom. The thrill of Dad's wire transfers hitting her account. The guilt she buried under spa days and spin classes. Then blackness. And I woke gasping in silk sheets. Sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Gold Coast skyline. Sarah's penthouse. Her body. Mine now. I stumbled to the mirror. Blue eyes instead of my hazel. Curves where I had angles. A manicure that screamed money. My old form? Victor said it'd be disposed. A husk washed up somewhere anonymous. No trace. I flex her fingers, tasting power. The phone buzzed, Mom. Sarah? Lunch at the Gauge? Big news on the appeal. Abby's stirring shit again. I smiled, lips fuller than I'd ever known. Wouldn't miss it. Mom. Tell me everything. Slipping into Sarah's life was like stealing a Ferrari with the keys in the ignition, thrilling. But one wrong turn and you're roadkill. First stop, her closet. A walk-in shrine to designers I'd only window shopped. I picked a sheath dress, black as my grudge. Heels that clicked authority on the marble floors. Makeup? Minimal. Sarah's style was effortless rich, but I added a smoker's rasp to my voice. A holdover from my pack-a-day days inside. No one questioned it. Why would they? I was the prodigal sister, back from a girls' trip to Napa. The gauge was buzzing. That loop staple where power lunches mingled with tourist selfies. Mom waited at our booth, pearls gleaming like shark teeth, her Botox smile fixed. There you are, darling. Late again. She air-kissed my cheeks, then dove in. Abby's lost it. That email, threatening the IRS? After all we've done. I sipped my mimosa, bubbles sharp on my tongue, Sarah's tongue, nodding like I cared.
Inside.
Abigail screamed. All you've done is lie. But Sarah? She played the game.
Mom.
She's jealous. Always has been. Let her rot in that hovel. We ordered lobster bisque for her, seared scallops for me, and she spilled the secrets I'd hungered for. Dad's fraud? Not just to fund Sarah's dreams. There was a bigger skeleton. Mom's affair with a firm partner. Payoffs to keep it quiet. Dad's books cooked to cover the hush money. And me, the fall guy because I was disposable. No connections. No alibi. Just the loyal daughter who signed the wrong form one rainy Tuesday. She knew.
Sarah.
We had to protect the family.
Protect.
The word curdled like spoiled milk. I probed gently. Sarah's charm my scalpel. What if she talks? The appeal's dead. But that IRS nudge. Mom waved it off. Jake's got a guy. They'll bury it deeper. Jake, cousin. Fixer. The one who'd forged my confession emails. Power pulsed in my veins. This body wasn't just pretty, it opened doors. By dessert, I'd mirrored her phone during a bathroom break.
Nabing contact, lawyers?
Accountants. The works. Walking out. I felt the first twist of controversy. Impersonating your sister to mine family dirt? It's identity theft on steroids. But after they stole my youth, fair's fair. Back at the penthouse, I paced the balcony. City sprawl mocking me from 40 stories up. Sarah's husband, a Trent tech bro, worth millions on some crypto scam, texted, "Babe, board meeting ran late. Dinner?" I replied with heart emojis. Then Googled his browser history on her Mac. Porn. Sure. But buried, searches for discreet escorts and alimony evasion. The secret nod. Sarah knew. Tolerated it for the lifestyle. Just like she tolerated framing me. I fired off an anonymous tip to his board. Nothing traceable. Just enough to plant doubt.
Revegnelita.
Appetizer. Night fell. And the group chat lit up again. Aunt Linda. Sarah.
Your mom's fuming about Abby.
What gives? I typed as Sarah. Ignore her. She's bitter AF. Focus on Maui, first class or bust. Airplane laughter emojis rained down. But I attached a screenshot. Redacted IRS notice. Dated today. Flagged for anomalous transfers. Oops. Thought you should see this. Family first. Right? Dots froze. Then panic. Mom's voice note. Shrill. Sarah. Delete that. What the? I muted it all. Poured a scotch, neat. Like Dad taught me, and toasted the skyline. To betrayal's echo. Deeper I went. Sarah's yoga class next morning. Hot vinyasas in a River North studio. Where influencers flex for Insta. I flowed through poses. Sweat beading on skin that never knew calluses. Eavesdropping on whispers. Heard Trent's in hot water, SEC sniffing around.
My doing? Partially.
But the real juice came from her Pilates pal. Becca. Girl. Your sister's appeal?
Total sham.
Your mom's got the judge in her pocket. Confirmation. I feigned shock. Milked details, names, dates, then accidentally let slip to the class chat. Wait. They framed Abby? For real? By noon. It was viral in their bubble. Controversy brewing like bad coffee. Trent came home early. Tie loose. Eyes darting. Babe, we need to talk. That tip, who sent it? I played innocent. Sarah's wide eyes my weapon. But inside Abigail plotted.
No idea. Hun.
But if it's about the investments. He crumbled, confessing the crypto pump and dump. How Sarah greenlit it to flip our old family home, my childhood house, for profit post-trial. They sold it while I was inside, pocketed the equity, left me with a cardboard box of memories. It was business, he whined. I nodded, then comforted him into spilling passcodes. By midnight, I'd wired modest donations from his slush fund to my old parole account, enough for a burner setup, not enough to flag. But the antagonist loomed, Mom. Power incarnate. Her brokerage empire built on whispers and white-collar sins. I needed her close. So I suggested a girls' night at her Naperville estate. Wine, spa treatments, the works. She bit, eager to soothe Sarah's stress. Driving the Beamer out there. Suburbs blurring into manicured lawns and McMansions. I rehearsed. Controversial decision ahead. Confront or corrode. I chose both. The house, our house, once smelled of lavender and lies. Mom hugged me tight. Chanel no. 5 choking. My golden girl. Forget Abby, she's poison. Over Pinot. She unloaded. The affair's fallout. Dad's suicide note, forged. She admitted. To seal my guilt. Sarah's role in perjuring for the prosecution. We had to. Darling. You were safe, white collar. Minimum time. Safe. I laughed. Sarah's trill masking Abigail's rage.
Mom.
What if I told you? I'm not safe anymore. Her eyes narrowed. But I pivoted. Toasting instead. That night, in the guest room, my old bedroom, redecorated, I hacked her desktop. Files galore, bribes, blackmail dossiers on half the city council. The hidden secret? Dad didn't kill himself. Mom did, pushed. During a fight, then staged it. And I took the fraud fall to bury the murder rap. Dawn broke gray, and I drove back. Evidence on a thumb drive burning in my pocket. The swap's high faded into tension, dark. Like storm clouds over the lake. How far would I go? Expose her? Or inhabit Sarah so fully I'd become the monster? The chat pinged. Sarah's, my Maui crew. Canceling flights. IRS audit? WTF. I smiled. Round 1 to me. Power's a drug. And Sarah's life was pure uncut. Private jets on standby. Personal shoppers who anticipated cravings. A Rolodex of influencers who'd kill for a shout-out. But under the gloss, cracks spiderwebbed, Trent's paranoia mounting. Mom's calls turning icy. The family chat a ghost town of deleted messages and blocked numbers. I leaned in. Abigail's cunning steering Sarah's sails. Decisions stacking like Jenga blocks on the edge of collapse. Controversial? Hell yes, gaslighting your own kin. Siphoning their secrets like a vampire at a blood bank. But betrayal's a mirror. They taught me well. Week 2. I targeted Jake.
Cousin.
Enforcer. The muscle behind Mom's empire. Private investigator by trade. Thug by necessity. We met at a dive in Pilsen. Murals of Frida and Che watching like judgmental saints. He slid into the booth, burly in a bear's hoodie, eyes scanning for tails. Sarah, your text's erratic. Mom spooked. I twirled a fry from the basket. Sarah's poise unbroken. Jake. Cut the shit. The IRS leak? That was you, right? Covering tracks. He blinked, then laughed nervous, gravelly.
What? Nah. 'Cause.
That's Abby's ghost haunting us. I slid the thumb drive across. Mom's murder file. Timestamps matching Dad's suicide. His face strained.
Ketchup white.
Where'd you? I leaned in, voice dropping to Abigail's south side edge. I know everything.
Jake.
The forged emails. The bribed judge. You pinned it on me so Sarah could play princess. He sweated, stammering denials. But I had him, a recording app on Sarah's phone, capturing every incriminating syllable. Help me bury this, he pleaded, or we all go down. Controversial choice, mercy or manipulation. I chose the latter. Fix Abby's record. Full exoneration. Or this hits the Sun Times. He nodded, frantic, promising strings pulled by week's end. Driving back, wind through the Beamer sunroof. I felt the darkness coil, tension, like hitchhiking at midnight on I-90. Was I saving myself? Or damning them all? The swap side effect kicked in, flashes of Sarah's memories. Unbidden. Her guilt the night of the trial. Tears in the bathroom. Whispering sorry. Abby to the sink. Humanized her. Just enough to twist the knife deeper. Trent's unraveling accelerated. Board summoned him for irregularities, my anonymous strip feed of docs. He paced the penthouse, scotch in hand, ranting about saboteurs. I played the wounded wife. Sarah's tears crocodile perfect. Babe, if it's the family, maybe confess. He cracked, spilling the full CryptoCon, laundering Mom's dirty money through NFTs. Sarah's signature on every transfer. The secret? It funded not just luxuries, but a slush fund for silencing witnesses, including the parole officer who'd vouched for my rehab. They'd paid him off to tank my early release. That night, controversy peaked. I slept with him. Not passion, calculation. In the tangle of 800 thread count sheets, he let slip the safe code, the offshore keys. Abigail's disgust warred with Sarah's detachment. Bodies betray. Even swapped ones. Dawn found me alone. Trent snoring. Me wiring the last of his liquid assets to a Cayman account in my name, Abigail's.
Cleansed.
Call it restitution. Or robbery. The line blurred. Dark and tense. Like a standoff in a Tarantino flick. Mom struck back midweek. Voicemail. Sarah.
Get to the house. Now.
That leak, it's Abby. She's got dirt. I arrived at dusk. Estate lights casting long shadows over the pool where Dad drowned. She waited in the study. Decanter open. Eyes like flint. What's this? She thrust printouts, my IRS nudge. Trace back to Sarah's IP. You're slipping, darling. Or is it her? That junkie sister's whispering in your ear? I poured a finger of bourbon. Steady. Mom, let's cut the act. I know about Dad. The push. The cover-up. Her laugh was ice. Prove it. Antagonist supreme. Muru M.O.
Quyền lực in can vét.
She'd lawyered up empires on less. But I had Jake's recording. Trent's confessions.
The drive.
I played it. Her empire crumbling in stereo. She paled, then rallied. Family protects family. Abby was weak, always. You're my legacy. Controversial pivot. I offered alliance.
Let me in.
Full partner. Or it all burns. She agreed.
Tentative.
Over cigars on the patio, smoke curling like lies. But as fireflies danced, I palmed her phone, mirroring it. Secrets upon secrets, a dossier on me. Abigail, parole violations fabricated, ready to reincarcerate. The chat revived that night. A Hail Mary from Aunt Linda. Emergency meetup. Abby's blackmailing everyone. Sarah. Help, I reply to Sarah. On it. But first, truths. Attached, redacted files. Enough to spark infighting. Panic rippled, accusations flying. Alliances fracturing. Tension mounted. As a funeral procession down Michigan Avenue. I was the spider. Sarah's web my silk. Climax brewed at the family summit. A reconciliation brunch at the Palm, steakhouse opulence masking the rot. They gathered, Mom at the head, Trent fidgety, Jake sweating, cousins milling like extras in a mob movie. I arrived last, Sarah's stride commanding. Let's talk Abby, Mom started, voice honeyed venom. She's deranged. Threatening us all. I smiled, sliding the full dossier across the linen. Murder. Fraud.
Perjury.
Gasps echoed. Not threats. Facts. Chaos erupted, Trent bolting for the door. Jake lunging for the papers. Mom's shriek. Sarah, you traitor. I stood amid the storm. Heart pounding Abigail's rhythm. Controversial apex. I could have walked. Let the dominoes fall. Instead, I torched it all literally, flicking a lighter to the stack. Flames licking toward the chandelier. Burn it with you. Alarms wailed. Sprinklers dousing the elite in tepid rain. As cops swarmed, I slipped out a side exit, Sarah's face my mask. But the high crashed hard. In the Beamer, fleeing to O'Hare. Flashes intensified, Sarah's terror now. Trapped in my old body, parole anklet chafing. Shadows closing. Victor hadn't lied. One way meant echoes. Guilt gnawed. Dark and relentless. The twist hit like a sucker punch from the void, mid-runway at O'Hare. Security swarming the terminal like ants on syrup. Not for me, for Abigail, the disheveled woman in rags they'd just hauled off a Greyhound, raving about body thieves and stolen lives. Sarah, in my husk, eyes wild, fingerprints matching mine from the pen. Victor's elsewhere was a halfway house nightmare, her polished soul rotting in my parole constraints. Cops bought her story? Hell no. Meth head ravings. They called it. But the real gut twist, Mom's contingency. That fabricated violation dossier? She'd activated it remotely, pinning a parole breach on us, hours before the brunch blaze. I froze by the gate to LAX, boarding pass trembling in Sarah's manicured hand. The news ticker on the CNN wall, Naperville heiress in family feud inferno, arson suspected. My face, hers splashed across, with Abby's mugshot inset, labeled accomplice. They'd flipped it. Sarah the victim. Me the vengeful psycho-sister. Betrayal's echo. Reversed. The hidden secret? All along. Mom had known about the swap. Victor's ritual wasn't folklore. She'd consulted him years back. testing options for Dad's disposal. She orchestrated the double cross, whispering to Victor for a two-way trapdoor. Sarah's body was bait, mine, the cage. Controversy detonated in my chest. Had I been played from the jump? The hair in the locket? Mom planted it, knowing I'd find it. The welfare check break-in? Baited. Rage boiled. And tensile as piano wire. I bolted for a cab, ditching the flight, heading south to that pier where it started. Victor waited. Of course, smoking a black and mild, lake wind tousling his comb-over. Devushka, or should I say, both. Mama paid extra for the mirror. I lunged, Sarah's nails raking his cheek, but he caught my wrist, laughing. Truth reverses.
Duh?
She wanted you both broken. Legacy pure. He spilled. Mom's endgame. Eliminate loose ends. Install Sarah as heir apparent. Me as the family ghost story. But the twists, Barb, Sarah knew. In those memory flashes, her complicity, egging Mom on during my appeals, fearing I'd expose her own sins, a hit-and-run cover-up from college, Dad's first favor, buried deep. Darkness swallowed me as Victor chanted the reversal, candles reigniting, circle redrawing in blood from our palm. Pain doubled, bodies wrenching back, souls slamming home like ejected pilots. I woke on the pier's damp planks, my old frame aching, Sarah's screams echoing from nowhere. Victor shrugged. She stayed elsewhere. Permanent. No swap back for her. Mom's premium add-on. Controversial karma? Or cruel poetry? Sirens wailed distant. Brunch fallout closing in. I staggered to my Civic, rust bucket purring like an old friend, and drove west, toward the suburbs' glowing maw. Decisions cascaded, expose or erase. The chat pinged one last time, Mom. It's over.
Abby. Come home.
We forgive. Forgiveness. The word mocked as I pulled into the estate driveway, floodlights bathing the facade like a crime scene. Mom waited on the porch, robe silk, shotgun casual in her lap, not loaded, but the threat hummed. Knew you'd come. Trent flanked her, bandaged from the arson, Jake lurking in shadows. No Sarah, her absence a void. The swap? Victor's parlor trick, she said, voice steady. Bought time to clean house. You in her skin? Amusing.
But now.
She gestured to the pool. Ripples still. Join us. Or swim eternal. Climax crested. Tense as a hung jury. I stepped forward. Hands raised, Abigail's hands, scarred from county kitchens. Truth reverses.
Mom.
But mine sharper. I tossed the thumb drive, not the original. A dud laced with a virus. My hacker pal's parting gift. Her phone buzzed, imploding servers. Brokerage firewalls crumbling in digital fire. Everything accounts. Dossiers leaked to the feds. Live now. Pandemonium. Trent dialing lawyers. Jake bolting for the garage. Mom's shotgun clattering as she clutched pearls. You wouldn't, but I would. Controversial zenith. Family annihilation. Not with bullets,
but bites.
As squad cars crested the hill, my anonymous 911. Timed perfect, I whispered. For Dad. For me. They cuffed her first. Mom's empire evaporating in cruiser lights. Trent folded like cheap suit. Jake sang like a canary. Me? Witness. Exonerated by the flood of files. Appeal granted posthumously. Almost. Sarah's fate? A Jane Doe washed up on the lake. Overdose ruled. But we knew. Her end. My echo. Ending?
Nota y dibao.
I drove east at dawn. Civic hugging the lake road. Parole lifted. Fortune seized in restitution. Happy? In the rear view. Freedom gleamed, but ghosts rode shotgun. Sarah's eyes in mine. Mom's forgive a curse.
Bikik.
Laced with triumph. Debatable as a jury poll. Did I win revenge? Or become it? The chat's final ping. Empty.
Archived.
I deleted the app. Horizon called California. Maybe. Fresh start. Or another swap. Who knows? Hate's a hungry god. But as the sun cracked the skyline, Chicago fading, I felt it. Pulse steady.
Skarsmine.
Shocking?
Yeah.
Worth it? Ask the road.